Welcome to the Mindful Mama Movement podcast. I'm Shannon Kinney-Dew, creator of afreespiritlife.com.
And I'm Ashley Walburn, owner of Home Holistic. And together, we are bringing you the Mindful Mama Movement.
Mindful mothering is about nurturing your heart and soul while you nurture your children. It's about consciously awakening to your inner wisdom and being peacefully present as a mama, no matter where you are on your journey. From discovering your newborn to loving and accepting the wonderful people who've left your nest. Our movement is empowering mamas to be authentic and to live inspired lives. We're so happy you're here.
To be free, to feel free, to be
Hey there, this is episode 19 of the Mindful Mama Movement podcast. In today's show, Ashley and I are talking to Shawna Childers. Shawna is a professional organizer living in Kansas City, and we get into some really great topics today. She's going to walk us through some of those really hard tasks, like the overwhelming ones when you are trying to take care of the laundry, when you're figuring out how to do your meal planning, when you're trying to clean your home, and especially if you're interested in using natural cleaning products. She's going to walk us through all those topics today. She also shares some insight on how important it is that everything in your home has a place. And so we get to the topic of clutter and how hard it is to let go of things, especially those ones that are really important to us. And she's got some really creative advice on what to do in those moments. This is a fabulous show. She's really inspired me to look at things differently in my own home and how I clean and how we all organize. So I know you're going to love it. Also, stay tuned for the very end of the show where Shawna offers you a chance to win a giveaway. It's a really great gift, and it's for either someone local or online, depending on where you live. So for more details, listen to the end of the show and make sure you're a member of our Mindful Mama Movement group on Facebook. That's where the giveaway will be given. That's where Shawna's going to meet us to answer questions. So if you have specific questions about the show or how to organize or let go of clutter or how to clean something in your home, Shawna will be available all this week, the week the show comes out, to answer those questions. So check us out in Facebook, Mindful Mama Movement group. Also, the Mindful Mama Movement is offering our t-shirts. I Choose Peace and Love t-shirts are available through the end of the week, so you can go to mindfulmamamovement.com and buy your shirt today. Your shirt will not only spread the message of peace and love, but you will help support our show. Today's show is brought to you by Home Holistic. Home Holistic is a one-stop yoga and wellness center. They offer yoga classes with experts in therapeutic yoga and healing. And there's also a center for therapies like chiropractic care, acupuncture, massage, counseling, and more. You can learn more about Home Holistic at homeholistic.com. Today's show is also brought to you by A Free Spirit Life. A Free Spirit Life offers life coaching services, online classes, and a monthly membership where you can connect to women who are on the path to living a more authentic, peaceful, and courageous life. The popular e-course Inside Out, a creative adventure of self-discovery, is now open for registration. Join women from around the world as you explore art journaling, gentle yoga, guided meditation, and connection to community. Visit afreespiritlife.com to learn more. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the show.
Hey, Shawna, welcome to the show. We're so excited to be here with you today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hi, Shawna.
Hey, Shannon.
So tell us a little bit more about who you are and what stage of motherhood you are in.
So I just like to think of myself as a student of life. You know, and I bet that sounds like really lame and cliche, but I love learning about like everything. And in turn, I think that's makes me excited to be a teacher also. So I'm a teacher, I think, is one of the main things that I call myself. I do a lot of organizing, yoga, natural cleaning, all around just improving efficiency, that kind of thing. And I do a lot, consulting and I like to help people. I am a mom now to an 18-month-old little girl, and she is a sassy pants. So yeah, it's been quite the experience.
How has becoming a mother changed you? And what do you think you've learned about yourself so far?
Okay. So changed me. I definitely have to become more flexible and more adaptable. I'm like the type of person who I noticed, especially when she was first born, I like to work for hours at a time on projects. And so since having a child, I have to like squeeze in 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. And I can never just go hard until anything's done. And that's been a really big challenge for me. Just having to do a little bit here and a little bit there, because sometimes it makes me feel like, oh, I'm not really getting anything done. But, a little over time, I just also have to really let go of the small stuff as like a parent, like having the house clean or, whatever, having things organized or how they're supposed to be. I really just have no time to even worry about that anymore.
Mm-hmm. I remember reading some blog posts that you were writing as you were, just kind of learning a lot of that. And I can so relate to all of us really can. It's like the moment you have a child, it just, your drive and everything that you once knew, it has to shift and change. And I just remember I just loved reading about your observations with that. Do you still blog?
Yeah, not as often, obviously, as I would like to. But yeah, I think being a mom is kind of like a constant identity crisis, because you're always like, oh, I love to do this and this is what I do. And I want to do this thing, but it's all like on the back burner, and you can't ever just do one project. You have to like do several. And then sometimes I would just think, what am I even doing? Like, what am I even doing here? Am I just a mom or am I this creative, productive person? Sometimes it gets confusing, I think, when you have to deal with all that stuff.
Yeah, I always felt that way when I would be sitting folding laundry and I would say to myself, probably even out loud, like, is this what my life's become? I'm just a laundry folder.
I literally just said that in my workshop this past weekend. Those moments, that's probably a good conversation to have. How many of you have sat in a pile of laundry and just cried? Like, this is my life. Yeah, and it is. I also noticed that, as you said, you've had to be more flexible and, in a way it has taught us how to be more efficient. Because for me, like, I thought, I could never be creative or do artistic things with the kids because I'd have to have this perfect, like, ideal hour. But really, when I started learning, I can create in the middle of all of that. Even if it's 10 minutes, it's like, man, I can get a lot done in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Have you found that this is even in a way helped you become more efficient?
I would say yeah. And especially because I don't, having to not being able to do things start to finish, you really just have to prioritize. And so the things that I used to think were priorities, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care about vacuuming right now. Like, I have to do this other thing that's way more important. So in a sense, I think that is efficiency, because especially with my personality type, I think I used to hold on to like, oh no, I have to vacuum the floor, or dust before I vacuum. And now I'm like, I haven't dusted for like 6 years. I mean, I don't know, but just, the order of things and just, that type of thing.
Do you, that's just, actually, it's just kind of freeing to hear you say that, because I think of people who are really good at organizing and cleaning, that they have this like perfect, clean and organized space. And so it's nice to hear it coming from you that you're even letting go of that and letting go of certain things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially cleaning, because the more I learn about germs and dirt and gut bacteria, I'm like, heck yeah, let's just be dirty up in here.
I'm not there yet. I'll
Oh,
work
man.
on that. I'm going to work on that part of myself. We know as moms that we just all have so much on our plates, and we feel consumed by daily demands, especially domestic tasks like laundry. What are your tips just for making it feel less overwhelming for us when it comes to dealing with clothes or dishes?
Number one is get everyone involved. And I've gone to a lot of households where, the mom or dad, usually the mom, has hired me to help things run efficiently, because everything is just chaos and there's a big family. And I'm like, okay, well, which parts are your children helping with? And they just look at me like, what? Like, what is that? I'm like, and I know you guys talked about this in your last podcast, which I thought was really amazing. But just getting your kids to help out is so monumental, and it makes your life so much easier. And they can start, my 18-month-old, she's cleaning up her own spills, putting her own clothes away in her drawer. Granted, she's just like chucking them in there, but whatever. And, having each person in the family be responsible for what they contribute to the mess. And that's a huge deal, especially clothes. With clothes, another tip I always give families is just keep it simple. We do not need the amount of clothing that we have in this society. I've just gone to way too many closets where I'm like, hey, when's the last time you wore this? And it's like, if it's more than 2 years ago, like, what are you doing?
Right.
You do not need to keep all that stuff in it's just taking up space in your home, in your mind. It's an extra stress, and people, I don't think they realize that it's like a subconscious weight on you when you have these things in your home that you don't use, don't even like half of the time, but you just are attached to. So that's a big clothes thing. I'm a big fan of the capsule wardrobes for everyone in the family.
I am
person-
too.
okay.
Yeah. Will you share that for people who don't know what that is?
So the capsule wardrobe is basically just having a lot of people do it differently, but for me, I like to just have, okay, these are the type of pants I like. These are the type of shirts, whatever. I have maybe 5 of this type of pants that I wear, and it's all like kind of neutral, so it's interchangeable. You usually don't have more than 33 items. I think that was the big rage with the capsule wardrobe. I don't know if I have 33 or not. I haven't counted, but they do fit in my side of the closet. And I think that's what's more important than the number of items. But, especially no one really needs, especially kids, they don't need more than 10 pairs of jeans, And kids are messy, so you're going to be changing them a couple times a day. But if you can stay on top of your laundry game, then it's just extra. It's just clutter.
Yes.
I think.
Do you? Because I go back and forth. Sometimes I think I know what I prefer. I do like to just do a load each day and then just fold, and everyone does help with the laundry. Sometimes I definitely fall in that trap of like I just want it done, so I'll fold it really fast, but then I drop it at their doorstep and then they have to put it away. But there have been those busy weeks where I'm just like, oh, forget this. And then it just piles and piles up. And then by the weekend, it's just this mountain that is so overwhelming. And so I'm curious, just from a systems standpoint, what you suggest. Once you have kind of limited the clothing, are there some practical tips for washing and putting it away?
Well, yeah, and I think everyone, even me, which I think we have my husband's also very organized, so that's a plus for our household. But even with us, we get backed up. We have a mountain of laundry every, couple of weeks, just because lives get busy, and laundry is always going to be there. So the big thing for laundry, I think, is to do small loads and to do them every day or every other day. But having the habit of doing laundry every day, I think even though you may say, oh my gosh, that's so much, I don't want to do laundry every day. But if you have a small load, it's really in total, like switching it out, having everyone help putting away, it really shouldn't take more than like 20, 30 minutes to just get it all in and out. And I think, also doing that system, it's kind of like a cathartic experience too. Like folding laundry, sometimes I'll be like, oh my gosh, like back to, is this my life? But then I'm like, okay, you know what? I have this time right here. It's like I can meditate while I'm doing laundry. Mm-hmm. I actually spend a lot of time meditating while I'm cleaning or doing dishes. Mm-hmm. It's just a very quiet thing that you can do and just spend that time with yourself. And just appreciate, think about things, like I whenever I'm like, oh, I'm so irritated that I have all this laundry to put away, I'm like, okay, you know what? I have clothes. I have laundry. I just try to like shift my perspective when I'm feeling like overwhelmed and stressed like that. And then it brings me back to like the meditation and just and trying to enjoy the moment and like looking at my kids' clothes, especially just saying, oh, look, I remember when my baby was like half this size and now they're this size as I'm folding, Well,
then that makes me cry.
It's a crying meditation. That can be good.
That's really hard for me.
Hey, that can be good too. Get it out, girl.
Well, truly, I was just sitting in meditation today. As you can tell, I have a respiratory cold, and I went to a place that has a steam shower today to just try to get feeling better. And I was trying to just remember specific memories of when my kids were about 18 months. I was just trying to like remember more details because I don't normally have a lot of time to just sit by myself. And so I was just going through like, what Jake was wearing and what his voice sounded like. Something that we do at our house, and my boys are older for sure, but probably about age 7, they started doing their laundry all by themselves. So they wash it, dry it, fold it, put it away. And if it's wrinkly, they know the tips and tricks to get the wrinkles out when they, end up wearing it. So for us, what is useful is, that like on Tuesday, Owen does his laundry. And so it ends up being, kind of one load of laundry a day, but kind of one person doing their own laundry. And that, I'm not even kidding, like changed our life because then we weren't sorting.
Yes.
I'm sure it was Will. It wasn't me that thought of it. That was like, I think that it would be safe.
There's a better way.
Yeah,
here.
There's got to be a better way than this. Going through the socks, going through the underwear. So now it's just their stuff, and for sure it helps us.
Yeah, and then whenever they don't do their own laundry, they can't blame you for not getting it finished. They're like, Mom, where's my shirt? Or whatever, It's like, well.
Today, Cole's 13, and this morning, I was trying to like stay in bed because I don't feel good. And, I heard my husband dealing with Cole this morning, and Cole's like, I don't have anything to wear, and literally his laundry basket was overflowing. All 33 items are in there. And Will's like, so you were home all day yesterday. Why did you not do your laundry? And he said, because Owen didn't take his stuff out of the dryer. And we're like, oh, well, that's a reason to wear dirty clothes today.
But it is awesome too, because having my oldest being 9 now, he just has a certain wardrobe. He definitely does the capsule wardrobe. There's probably 10 items. And he likes to repeat and wear the same thing over and over. And but man, it does keep you on top of stuff. And I love that because there's no like thinking in the morning or struggling. I do it now too. I think ever since I wore maternity clothes, I noticed that I only had certain items. I'd wear the same favorites. And then I just kept that going. But it makes your morning so amazing because it's just like, well, I have 5 outfits to choose from this season. What one do I feel like wearing today? And I noticed that with my kids, it's a lot easier in the mornings.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome.
So let's talk about clutter because I feel like that is a topic that brings up a lot of emotion with people. Just that word alone makes you can just feel it in your gut sometimes. We hear a lot of questions about that in our own communities of just, especially moms with young children. It's, their struggle is toys. How do you, deal with this? And can you be clutter free and still raise children? So I'm curious your perspective on clutter, your own experience with the people you've worked with, and how do people, start to let go of the stuff they're holding on to?
Okay, so first I'll go into clutter, I guess, and then we'll talk about how people let go. I think clutter is just stuff we don't have a place for. Most of this, like my house right now, I'm just looking around and there's just crap everywhere. But if I'm going to, spend 15 minutes picking up or whatever, everything that's on my floor right now or strewn around my living room, everything has a place to go to. And there's a home for it. And I think that's the key with clutter. A lot of my clients, you'll walk into their house and they'll have stuff just hanging out on the ledges, on the tables, everywhere. And they're like, I just don't know where to put this. And so it ends up everywhere. And so the idea is when I help them, manage their clutter, it's simply just going through all the items, categorizing them, and then making a home for them. And with limited space, especially, we downsized to a really small house, and you just have to really prioritize what means the most to you, what you're going to use the most, and what's the thing that's practical for your family. So we've gotten rid of a lot of stuff, and some stuff I didn't really want to let go of. But when I compare it to, okay, I have this much space, can I put all of it in there? No. What am I going to put in there? And so it's just kind of like, Halloween candy. You dump it all out on the floor, and then you pick out your favorites first.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of how I feel like with the items in your home, pick out your favorites first. Like I like to tell my clients, okay, in this space or whatever, imagine there's a fire and you have to take 5 items with you. When people are like, I just can't decide which ones I like the most, or, any of that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, your house is on fire and you have to go, what are you going to take from this section or from this cabinet or whatever? And that's what you start with. So you take everything else out and then you just start with those items. And I think that's a lot to do with toys also. First of all, we all have way too many toys.
Mm-hmm. Way too many.
Way too many toys. And if your toys are overflowing in your toy box or, are on the floor everywhere or just all over the place, you should probably get rid of half of them. Just get rid of half of them, or, put half of them away. I love to switch out the toys too, to put them in a big Tupperware, store them, in the attic or wherever. And when your kids get bored with them, because they'll be like, oh, I already looked at all this stuff. I don't care about it anymore. Switch it out and voila, they have new toys.
Mm-hmm.
We did that one time. Somebody told us to do that, and then we forgot that we'd switched them out and found 3 years later we were painting our storage room and we found this big block, cool Lincoln Logs, and I'm like, oh my God, they were just gone, but we never missed them. I know, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I really like that tip of, really, that's so simple when you think about clutter, instead of this overwhelming mass, but just really it's about these things that just, they don't have a space. And we've done that. My husband, probably since he met you, Shawna, but he's always really good at that. And we've worked on clearing clutter for many years. And my father-in-law came one day and he's like, where's all your stuff? And I thought, and I think about that often, I thought that was the best compliment anyone's ever given me in my home.
Because he meant crap.
Well, knickknacks, and we just don't have a lot of, things that, and there's less dusting. We have some of our favorite art, and we do just having a place for the toys, cupboards and bins that they go in. And he's also really good about, we do a cleaning time every night, so the kids can leave out if they're building something, but otherwise that stuff goes back where it needs to. And I think for me alone, just having like a more peaceful living environment, it puts me at ease that everything has its place.
Yeah, and I love that nighttime cleanup routine too, because I mean, at first you're just like, I just want to get this crap put away, but then you're also teaching your children super valuable skills that they're going to keep with them and use for the rest of their life, and that's huge.
It is huge, and I noticed that they are more respectful of their things. They're understanding that these things, you can't just like break it and destroy it and get a new one. Like, this is your stuff, so you need to take good care of it. But also I noticed, so we have a new thing where I usually make dinner, but then the boys all gather with daddy and they do all the cleanup. And the boys were resistant for the first week or so, but now it's like everyone knows their chore and it's their time to talk, and there's a pride, I noticed this like empowerment where they feel good doing it. And yeah, if we can teach that young, then is it hopeful that as they get older?
Well, if only there were video cameras at the Walburn house. What I would say my observation is my husband, like when they were little, if I made dinner, then my husband cleaned up. And now whoever's making dinner, because it's not always me now, the rest of us clean up. And so usually there's some kind of a negotiation that happens with the boys. It's like, no, like whoever, like whatever task you don't like I don't like to do dishes. So then all of a sudden they're sitting beside me chopping carrots, that they know that they're going to get their chore in now. But we also see at our house, kind of sweet negotiations that, I'll fold your laundry if you put the dishes away.
Well, negotiating is a good life skill.
Yeah,
too,
right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care who does it so long it's done, and but it's always funny just to listen to them, that we hear this whispering in the background and then somebody's doing somebody else's job. It's great.
Before we move off this clutter topic, though, Shawna, and you might have more to add, as we asked you about, letting go. But I do just want to be sensitive to those who are really overwhelmed by it, because it's one thing to say, oh, you just have a place for your stuff. But yeah, I've met lots and lots, and I've been there. Believe me, there's been things my grandmother's given me, people I just don't want to let go of it, and I know that feeling, and so. If someone's really struggling with that, what would be some of your guidance on where to begin to let go of some of that clutter?
Well, the first thing I tell my clients who are having a hard time letting go of stuff is that the physical item getting rid of the physical item does not get rid of the memory or the feeling of love or the, just that, the hand-me-down aspect. There was this one client I had, she had a really old antique washing machine, and it was just taking up this huge space in her laundry room, and she's like, I just can't get rid of it. I can't get rid of it. It was my grandma's. I'm like, okay, it's really big. You've called me because you want me to help you deal with this, but it's taking up space. It's not efficient. I was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take beautiful photographs of this washing machine, and we're going to hang them up in your laundry room. Mm-hmm. So every time you come into your laundry room, you can still see it. You still get those positive emotions. You still think of your grandmother and the times, you helped her do laundry on that as a child, but you don't have this big object blocking the energy flow in your laundry room.
I love that so much. I love it so much.
I love it so much. And I'm thinking of my husband right now, because I have a dining room table that my grandma gave, that was theirs, original, from 1930s. And we ate dinner, Thanksgiving on it. And I have held onto that table ever since we've moved. And it's just the one item I have of hers, but he just wants to get rid of that table. So maybe I need to set up like a little scene with that table and take a picture, like a family picture with it. And then,
yeah, or maybe do your next big family dinner there and take pictures of that, yes. So you're making good memories with the table too.
Yes.
I'm all about keeping the memories of those kinds of things alive and make as much of it digital as you can. I'm really into having people scan their photographs and stuff that way. I mean, realistically, you probably never go into the photograph box anyway, like more than once or twice a decade. So putting them in a digital place where you can, easily recall them is just as efficient. I mean, more efficient than having the big items just hanging around. And I totally get this, being sentimental about objects. Over the years, I've just kind of learned that to separate the two, that I can still have the emotions and the feelings and the memories without having to keep the item around. And actually, we do that with a lot of gifts too. I mean, most of our family knows we're kind of minimalist anyway, so they don't really get us a lot of that kind of stuff. But when we do, I just, write them a letter. Thank you so much for giving this to us. Like, it's the thought of you giving us a gift is amazing. We appreciate that love. And then I'm like, okay. And then it goes out of the house. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to take up the space. But, I also like the KonMari view of the items too. If this is not bringing you joy, then get rid of it. And so many people keep stuff just because of, it was so-and-so's, but they don't even really like that person, but they just feel guilty about getting rid of it. It's like, what would you rather carry around with you? The guilt of getting rid of it, or that stress and negative emotion that having it in your environment is going to like weigh on you heavy and heavier and heavier over time. And it's going to affect your environment.
Yes. I love that. Those are really great tips. Thank you.
We're going to shift a little bit. And if you had a video camera inside the Walburn house, you would know that the last couple of years, meals are crazy that we have. And I would say they were crazy when they were toddlers at that time also. Now we're back to crazy meal time. And I am not naturally advanced planner. And so I just don't. I kind of fly by the seat of my day. But the last 2 years, I really have struggled with, I get home and my family all looks at me like, what's for dinner? The little birds are open. What are your tips for creative or easier meal planning? I feel like we have so many moms that are like, help me. What are you using? What are your tips for meal planning and just making cooking more fun?
So don't feel like you have to do everything in one day. So some people are like, okay, I have to get the meal plan. I have to go grocery shopping. I have to prep all the food. Well, you cannot do all of that in one day. And if you do, you'll spend the entire day doing it. And then I used to do it that way. And then I'm neglecting my family. I'm like, okay, sorry, I'd love to, but I can't because I have to meal plan and then shop and then cook. And, so I've learned just breaking that up over several days is really efficient. So meal plan one day. So and we do it per week. I don't get crazy, and I'm not trying to do a month's worth of meals or any of that stuff, but one day a week, we'll meal plan. And, my kid isn't old enough yet to pick her own meals or, contribute to that in any way. But if you do have older children, I say give every family member at least one day a week, like the laundry, and that they choose the meal. So, Ben, you do Tuesdays, and, mom will do Wednesdays, dad will do Thursdays. Everyone gets one day a week that they have the meal plan or have to choose the meal, and, maybe even cook the meal depending on how old they are.
I love it.
Getting help. And
I'm writing notes right now. I'm like, everybody, and I have one child, Ben, who is just a picky kid. And a lot of times I'll make dinner and he'll come home from basketball practice or something and he'll say, I'm good. Like he's not going to eat that night. and I'm like, oh, you are? You're good? You're not hungry? And he'll look at me like, you've betrayed me. You've done it again. You've made spaghetti. And I hate it or whatever. But I do love this. It just feels like empowerment, and that they're a participant in the choice, and they know that they get to choose an equal amount of the dinners.
Right. And it does seem like they eat it better too. Like even a meal that they would normally not like, if they've helped prepare or schedule it or whatever, they seem to eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And, do that one day, do the meal planning one day, and then be like, okay, cool. That's it. And then the next day go shopping. Okay. And then come home, unload that, do whatever you got to do. And then maybe the next day do the meal prep and, cook all of the roasted veggies ahead of time, or, cook the meat or whatever you're going to use for the week. And I'm really into that too. I found that that's helped a lot, especially when you're trying to eat healthy. I find that if I don't plan well, then I end up just grabbing whatever, and it's not as nutritious as something that if I would have taken the time to plan out and cook beforehand. So yeah, I found that works pretty well for us.
That's great. We do a lot of, if I'm cooking, I try to cook for 3 days, and it is just the same thing. Like if I'm roasting a chicken, I roast 2 chickens and a ton of vegetables, and we might make it a little bit more creative tomorrow, jazz it up. But for me, because our lives are busy in the evenings, that if I can get cooking done, it's such a relief to not have to do it the next day.
Yeah, leftovers are amazing. Yeah. But I really like that, Shawna. I think there's going to be a lot of moms in our community that love hearing you say just breaking it up in small doses, because I am more of a natural planner, and I always think I have to get everything on the weekend so that I can start Monday fresh. And I love when I don't have to think about the meals, but then I end up using half a Sunday where I just want to play or relax or rest, and that's exhausting.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I used to spend all day Sunday doing meal planning, and I was just like, oh, by the end of the day, I haven't seen my family, which, weekends are, especially Sundays, are great for family days when my husband's off work. But I was like, wow, I just wasted an entire day on this. There has to be a better way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
let's talk a little bit about cleaning, since we're kind of getting all these subjects in. And I think I know that natural cleaning products are important to you. So I'd love to hear have you always been aware that, cleaning products are toxic? And do you have one simple recipe even that you could let us know of that's kind of your everyday go-to cleaner? Just give us some of your personal thoughts on cleaning.
So in college, I was a house cleaner, and I did a lot of cleaning houses for money. And I, at first, before I really got into natural cleaning, I was just using whatever, the regular 409s and bleach and all that kind of stuff. And then I realized wow, my lungs hurt, just from breathing it in. It was just way too much. And that kind of also coincided with just kind of learning more about nature and more about chemicals, and how information just builds upon each other, and then you're like, oh wow, that makes sense. So yeah, I just started looking into, okay, what can I use that's not going to be so harsh? And I wasn't even thinking, oh, natural cleaning in the beginning. I was just I just don't want my hands to peel, and I don't want to be huffing while I'm trying to scrub a bathtub. Mm-hmm. So, I just started internet research, and I was like, oh wow, I can pretty much clean every single item with vinegar and baking soda. And it's non-toxic to me. It's non-toxic to my clients' pets, small children. Whoa, this is amazing. What did the pioneer women use to clean with? Oh, salt and vinegar. Okay. That makes so much sense, and you can still get everything clean. So yeah, my basic go-tos are really vinegar, baking soda, and sometimes Castile soap, but really mostly just vinegar and baking soda.
Mm-hmm. Is there a certain measurement that you use?
No, I'm not really scientific about the measurements, to be honest. I just dump some vinegar in a bottle and mix it with water. If I'm going to clean something really greasy, like a stove or something really nasty, a lot of soap scum or something, I'll use more vinegar than maybe 3-to-1 ratio. Or if it's just like a light dusting, maybe like a 5-to-1 or 10-to-1 ratio of vinegar to water. And then, a couple essential oils, drops, whatever I'm feeling for the day, whatever I think would smell good. And that's about it. If I need a little extra scrubbing powder, mix some baking soda in with that. It's a good little natural scrubbing bubbles-esque. And I go to town.
And you meditate.
She enjoys it.
Yeah, I really do. I love it. I love that instant gratification of like having something really messy or chaotic and then it's clean. So it's good. It's like my Zen garden. What is the sand where you're like raking the sand?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a Zen garden. I think that's what it is.
That's what vacuuming is for me. I'm like, I just turn it into my little, my little sand scraping.
I kind of like cleaning. I too cleaned houses, and I was in graduate school when I was cleaning houses, and I honestly like loved it. And it has made me such an efficient cleaner. But I remember also like the soft scrub or whatever that was, like that we cleaned bathrooms with, that my fingers were just literally like sandpaper. And so like what materials do you use? Like, do you use washcloths or do you use why can't I think of the word? A sponge? Like for bathrooms that tend to be a little harsher and need a little deeper cleaning.
Yeah, because I have to admit, I avoid cleaning the bathrooms. I make Chris do that. But I mean, with a lot of boys in the house, it's just that one room that I really struggle with, especially with natural cleaning products. So tell us what to use.
Well, with like natural cleaning products, it's not something you can do like, oh, I'm going to do once every 6 months. Like they're not as abrasive as those chemicals that you buy in the store. So you do have to do it a little more often. But the trick that I found, like for my bathroom, like I swear my husband does not know where the toilet is. And
it's all, I mean, every single 5 boys at my house.
What I do is I just will keep like a spray bottle of vinegar and water in the sink, like in the bathroom under the sink with some like a paper towels, because like honestly I'm not a big fan of paper towels, but I do not want to touch their pee. I just don't want to deal with it. But for the toilet, every time, like, maybe once or twice a week when I'm in there, I'll just do a really quick spray down and wipe, and that takes maybe a minute or 2 minutes. It's nothing crazy. I'm not getting out the toilet brush. I'm not like going to town on it. I realize that if you just do a little bit of maintenance pretty often, then you never have that like disgusting buildup that you're like, oh crap, I got to break out the
SOS pad or whatever
reason for this. So yeah, that's kind of how I manage it. But, I mean, baking soda and vinegar will seriously go a long way. I've even unclogged some drains with that. So
that's good to know.
Some good stuff.
Do you just use white vinegar? Or is there a certain type that you like?
Yeah, distilled white vinegar usually, but if I'm out, I'll use apple cider vinegar. Really doesn't matter. If I'm out of vinegar, I'll use lemon juice. I mean, it's all pretty similar. Just got to get a good rinse with the lemon juice. Like it's a little more acidic than the vinegar. But yeah.
Well, we use, because I don't like to do anything for myself. I use Shawna's products at Home Holistic and at my house. And she's right. Like it's literally mind blowing. And I also, we have small bathrooms that when my kids are in a small bathroom cleaning, I don't feel like they're getting brain damage from a product.
Yes.
Seriously. I mean, there's like hardly any ventilation in half those bathrooms either. Yeah. And so, then I can like put in some essential oils and like get my aromatherapy on while I'm cleaning.
Yeah, it's so different.
Yeah.
Well, Shawna, besides meditating while you clean, what are some of your favorite self-care practices?
Sunshine. I thrive off of sunshine. I haven't got it much this week, but if I can get outside and go for a long walk in the sunshine, everything is right in my world. It seems like I'm a big advocate of getting that vitamin D in your eyeballs and soaking through your skin. I have to get some naps. If I'm not feeling it, I need to take a nap. I'm a big fan of naps. And just, I don't get a lot of them, but sometimes if I'm like, wow, I'm really just dragging today, I'll just take a nap during my kids' nap time, or I spend a lot of time during nap time just doing yoga, just stretching, or doing yoga while I'm doing the dishes. Or I'm a big fan of Katie Bowman's stack your life concept, where you just get, like it's like maximum efficiency, right? You are doing the dishes or cleaning or whatever, but you're also accomplishing another goal. So I'm like, I'll stretch, I'll do some squats while I'm brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I hadn't heard of that. Is it a book? Stack
Well,
Your Life?
I think it's a hashtag, really.
Oh, okay.
But Katie Bowman is phenomenal. She's like my spirit animal, I swear. She's just all about movement, and that's a big thing of how I like refresh myself, is just getting in that movement and outdoor time. Using my eyes to look long distances instead of 5 inches from my face.
Yeah.
Just all of those like very primal ways that humans have been living up until like the last 1,000 years.
Yes. Yeah. I do my yoga when I do my hair and like my forward bends and my stretching, and it's nice.
Yeah, totally. And in the shower, I do a lot of shower yoga.
Yeah.
Shaving my legs, getting a good stretch.
I do. I shave my legs a little longer, keep doing the front side. Shawna, where can our moms learn a little bit more about you?
So I have a website, ShawnaChilders.com, and that's where I'm trying to accumulate everything. My organizing, yoga, teaching, cleaners, like all the million things I do there. And I'm pretty active on Instagram, posting lots of pictures and videos of my child and crazy stuff she does. So that's where you can find me.
Great. Well, we'll share those links in our show notes. And before we go, we always like to end with what we call the Mindful Mama moment. And it's just a call to action for our listeners, something that they can take and apply to their own life from our show. What would you say your Mindful Mama moment would be for the moms listening right now?
I think my Mindful Mama moment would be to take care of yourself first. All moms are always like doing stuff for all of their people, but I'm a big fan of you can't help someone else put their oxygen mask on until you get yours on. So taking the time that you need and not feeling guilty about it, just knowing that it's going to be the best for your family, for yourself, and for your entire community. Because, when we grow as individuals, that's when all those people around us start growing too. So take that time for yourself and do it unapologetically, because you deserve it and you're worth it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Shawna. And I know that Shawna has agreed to join us. She's a member of our Mindful Mama movement group on Facebook. So if you haven't joined us there yet, you can join us anytime. And she will be there available to answer any questions you might have this week. And then real quickly, Shawna, you said you have a giveaway we're going to do a random drawing this week. Tell us about that giveaway.
Ooh, yeah. So one lucky lady will win a in-home consultation from me. And so that's usually what I do at the beginning of my sessions. And I can just come to you and you tell me what area of your life, your home, your business, your ideas that you need help organizing or putting together or prioritizing or just getting some help with. And I would love to take a second look at that and see where there's some room for improvement.
Oh, that sounds so good. And Shawna, I'm going to be thinking about you tonight. I swear I've been avoiding the bathroom. I'm going to meditate while I clean that toilet. So thank you for the inspiration.
Yeah, peppermint is a good urine neutralizer. So if you got any peppermint essential oil,
I do.
then I would use that. That's what I use when I have to do the serious heavy duty pee stained areas.
Oh, the boys. I know.
Yeah.
Well, perfect way to end the show. Shawna, thank you for your time today. This was so fun.
Thanks so much, Shawna.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay, we hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you're feeling inspired to go meditate while you clean. At least, if nothing else, it will give you inspiration on letting stuff go. Bringing more ease to your life is all about living more mindfully. For your chance to enter Shawna's giveaway, stop by iTunes and subscribe to our show. If you leave a review, you can enter your name for the giveaway. If you've already left us a review, you can share our show with your friends or add your friends to our Mindful Mama Movement group on Facebook. All you have to do is either leave a review or share our show with your friends and then email us info@mindfulmamamovement.com. Let us know that you did it. We will enter your name, and this Friday, the Friday after the show has come out, we will pick a winner. You do not have to live locally. You can also do this if you live far, far away. So join us on the Mindful Mama Movement group in Facebook, and we can't wait to see you next week. Bye.
I'm growing. It takes time to realize